Well, welcome everybody to Create Your Best Life with Rex. I'm your host, Rex Sykes, and it pleases me to no end that you are here and that my guest today is the amazing, the incredible, the outstanding, and wonderful Tom Chenault. He's somebody I've known for a number of years, and I have benefited so deeply and so much by knowing him and calling him a friend that I want you to meet him too if you don't already know who he is. This is a guy you must get to know. So I want to bring on Tom Chenault, who's known for creating contact mapping, which was an app that he's now sold, but it's an app to connect people and keep people in their mind, keep the relationships that they have sorted out so that they could treat them in a special way. Because Tom is all about special relationships and treating people as people, not as prospects or customers or clients. And so with that, I want to bring on Mr. Tom Chenault.
Thank you very much, Rex Sykes. How is my idol doing? I'm telling you, there's nobody like you. I'm so honored to have been able to write something in your book several years ago that really came true, man. You are, I don't know that I have a friend that's got as much influence in so many areas of life than you. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
My God, I got to say, I feel the same way about you. When I was writing my book, when I was done, I sent a galley copy to Tom and asked him, for his thoughts and his words. And I can't tell you how much that it meant to me that you were kind enough and generous enough to write what you did. And the friendship that we have, you are an amazing person, Tom. You have accomplished so much and you helped so many people all around the world. You're one of the top 25 network marketers around the globe. And yet you still find time constantly to serve people as a servant leader. I mean, wow.
Yeah. And I love it. And what I do is I live every day to meet people and have them leave me feeling better than they did about themselves with no agenda whatsoever. But I literally map everybody I meet so I can come back to them in a month and figure out what I can do to serve them. And if there's a buck to be made in the middle, I'll do it. But most of the time, it's just good karma. And I've become phenomenally successful at doing just that. And it's something that you do intuitively. And I love you for that.
Well, and I love you too. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring on my co-host, Danny Walsh, who you've gotten to know. Danny is a maverick in marketing and in helping people transform their lives and to connect the kinds of things that we do together to other people. And so if Danny will come on up, we'll share the screen. There's Danny Walsh. Here he is.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Look at that. Look at that. We're three peas in a pod here.
In a pod. I don't know if that's too close up, right? We got the super close up. We'll bring it back out a little bit. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great, man. And hearing about you little English man that is accomplishing so much. You've got Rex looking like a movie star on all the social media platforms. It's just cool what you're doing, sir, and I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that 100%. We are live across quite a few platforms. So we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on several Facebook profiles and in groups as well. If anybody's watching, let us know in the comments. But Rex, Tom, we do have a nice show lined up for tonight. And I know, Rex, we've got questions in abundance for Tom, right? And we want to try and draw out some of the journey, some of the awesome stuff that he's involved in. Why don't you kick it off and we can give Tom the limelight that he deserves on this time.
Well, thank you, my friend. Tom, I know you, but so for those people who know you and love you know you, but for those who may not, can you tell us just how you started your journey, how you came to be who you are today, and what that entailed? Because you do so much, and you've been at it a long time.
Well, my education is the School of Hard Knocks. I do have a doctorate in drunk. So there's only two things that I do quite well, and that's help people quit drinking and get off of all that stuff. And I'm an unbelievably hard worker. And my entire life is centered around deep relationships, treating people like human beings instead of prospects. So that started out many, many years ago in the restaurant business in the early 70s. And I was running a restaurant of about 103 employees under the age of 18 and 75,000 people coming in a month. So it was just pandemonium all the time. The food wasn't very good, no liquor license, and we were the most popular restaurant in Colorado. And people would go, how do they do it? The food's not that good. They can't even buy booze. But what we did really well was everybody that walked in the door, Rex, we saw these parties come in, and they were all old people because no liquor and cheap food. So they'd come to the door and they'd bring their kids and their grandkids, and they'd be coming for dinner. And we, at that moment, looked at the person in the party least likely to get a compliment, and we complimented that person on what they most loved about themselves. So it would be a pair of earrings, a handbag, a hairdo, something like that. And we wrote it on note cards. And after they left, we completely wrote everything about them. And when they came back next Sunday, we remembered those people, remembered that person we gave the compliment to. If they were there, we reminded them what they had on last week. If they weren't, we missed them. And those people started coming back next week just because they wanted to hear their name. So I left that business. I started drinking like crazy and was a nutty alcoholic. And I went from the restaurant business, unbelievably successful, but a bad drinker, to becoming an airplane salesman. And I was able to drink and fly airplanes, which you weren't supposed to do. And all kinds of crazy stuff happened there. But I was unbelievably successful at that because I had all the names from the restaurant business. So I just parlayed those people. So I drank myself out. I didn't crash the airplanes, but I drank myself out of that profession and became a stockbroker and made millionaires out of people. Unfortunately, they were multimillionaires. And so I shrunk them down in their net worth. But it was all the same thing. The restaurant customers, the airplane customers became obviously stock customers, and I made lots and lots of money, but it was a bad ending again with the alcohol. I got 2 disturbing the pieces and 2 DUIs in 1 month, and that completely wrecked my life. And I had to reinvent myself, and in a hurry. And the last house on the block, with all of my resume and the whole shot, no one would hire me. And I got into something called multi-level marketing, network marketing, because there was no background check, no credit check, unlimited income, and I could start today. And all it took was an absolute unbelievable drive to be successful. And I did it. And I've been doing it now for over 30 years. I have a huge organization of people I serve. I have a huge circle of influence in Alcoholics Anonymous. I go to 2 meetings a day, and I am happily married in Niwot, Colorado, which is a little village between Boulder and Denver. And I am one of the few guys I know that has all the time, money, and health they need, that gets up every morning at age 73 with unbelievable purpose and legacy, because I'm doing what I love. And I'm never going to die.
God, that's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And hey, I see Adrian just said, your son, Adrian, he should be here, but he said, wow, what's up, guys, in the chat. So that's fantastic. Hi, Adrian. And, Tom, let's talk just a little bit about that, because everything that you said is so absolutely incredible. I've never been a member of AA, but I've had the good fortune to know many people who are, and I've been able to attend meetings, open meetings, and different meetings. And I joined Al-Anon for that reason. And to be able to, Bailey, go ahead. Sorry about that. But I've been able to say that, when we first met, you said, hey, let me buy you lunch tomorrow. But that was after you attended a meeting.
Yeah.
And I've known that, for over 30 years, you go to daily meetings. Now you 2 meetings a day. And I think that is just so marvelous. One of the most profound things that ever happened for me was I was on the West Coast where I lived. And I went to a meeting one night on a Friday night, and I counted the chairs. So I knew how many people were there. There's about 400 people there on a Friday night at 8 p.m. And I looked at this group of people, and I went, there are people here who are just now for the first time, and people here have been here for decades. And they're all wanting to improve their lives or help somebody else improve their lives. And I started to cry, and I realized why I was crying was because I knew that now simultaneously this was going on all around the world.
Yeah.
Meetings everywhere. and you are a champion and for instance of sobriety and helping other people to maintain sobriety, and you're a walking, talking, breathing, living example for that. And I really love you and appreciate you for that.
Well, it's a great platform for me because I can talk to homeless people and I can talk to rich people in the same breath, because we're all the same. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is true human connection. And when you get that, all we want to do is be remembered. All we want people to do is know that we're included. And we're in a world right now where the divisiveness has never been bigger, whether it's politically, whether it's spiritually, no matter what it is, we're all just fighting. And I live in a world where it's exactly the opposite. Nobody is left behind. We're giving you a hand up, not a hand out. And I live my life like that every day of the week. And I built 2 companies around it. We sold one of them to a giant company based, of all places, London, England, with a guy named Justin Balababa, who I'm going to introduce to Danny Walsh. And everything I do is based on connection. And I needed to meet Remy. And that was the billionaire that was a billionaire, then was homeless, then was in a mental institution, dead broke, and now a billionaire again. And I going, how do I meet this guy? I'm so in love with him. So I start stalking him. First name that pops up as an influencer with him is who? Rex Sykes. So I called Rex. I said, Rex, can you introduce me to Remy? He said, heck yes. And the rest is history. But you guys, this is one of my bylines of Longmont, Colorado, where I live. Every homeless person, don't look past those guys.
No.
Because every homeless person in Longmont, Colorado knows a multimillionaire. Do you know why? They know me. That's it. That is that simple. So stop interviewing people with your eyes. Give everybody a chance. Every one of those people, according to Brené Brown, have a story that will bring you to your knees if you'll just take the time to listen.
God, you know,
broadcasting, start receiving.
No, I mean, this is, I mean, thank you for that. I mean, just thank you for that. But I know you for this, but you know, and the thing is it doesn't matter if they're kings or not kings, whoever they are, they're equal in your eyes. And that is that you appreciate them and you value them and you uplift them and you edify them and you help them whenever you can. And that, to me, you're like one of the rare people in the world that I know who actually does this. I mean, in terms of being a true servant leader, you walk the talk. You are the embodiment of this. You're not, I mean, you're the real deal. And so I love you and I appreciate it. And I want to open it up so that Danny can also talk and ask you questions. And so, but thank you so much for being here, my friend.
I love you.
I love you.
I think, like, what a story. And the journey, I think people worry about the journey, right? And we've talked about this, Rex, where folks don't spend enough time on that journey to smell the roses, right? They're too busy focusing on the destination, and sometimes you don't get there. Clearly, the journey can go in lots of different twists and turns, and there's quite a few things that jumped out of that story that, you know, I've got some notes, I've got some thoughts, right? The big thing, obviously, relationships, but the connection. I've just done a live talking about the power of conversation and being able to ask for what you want, right? And a lot of folks go along that journey without asking anybody for anything, without starting meaningful conversations. What's your thoughts around the power of conversation and the power of being able to ask for what you want in life, Tom? Is that something you could talk around for a little bit? I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So that book that we alluded to at the very beginning of the conversation was something called The Coffee Shop Interview. And if you go to thecoffeeshopinterview.com, it costs like $8 on Amazon, and it's worth about 8 cents. So I'll get it to you for free at thecoffeeshopinterview.com. But basically, I don't care where everybody makes the mistake in life is they go for the sale too fast. And the name of the game is getting to know people, get to know about their life, their money, their time, their health, find out what it is they want to buy, find out what it is they don't want to buy, wait a couple days so it doesn't sound like an agenda, call them up on the phone, say, I've been thinking about you, and then sell them back what they said they want to buy, and don't bring up what they said they didn't want to buy, because they're going to tell you no. That reduces your chances of getting rejected 95%. But everybody is so blinded by their great company or their great product or their great themselves that they just won't shut up and listen. And they, and they teach everybody to ask great questions, Danny, which great questions are great. But I'm going to tell you something, folks. Pay attention to the answers to your great questions and write them down and put them on a rotation of remember, and constantly remind people what they believe to be great about themselves. You do that, you win at a level you've never won before, and I can prove it.
Wow. I can, living in Los Angeles and going to the hot spots and going to restaurants, I know, and with celebrities that people go to be seen, they go to be treated well, they go to a place that is friendly and welcoming. If they go, hello, Mr. Chenault, hello, Mr. Walsh, so happy to see you. Here's your table. You want to go back. And you talked about how you started in the restaurant business. The thing that's so beautiful about this is that you don't treat people as customers. You don't treat people as clients. You don't make that assignment, which so many people do. They go, I have to sell so much in order to get ahead. I have to do this. I have to close that. I have to do that. How do I close more? How do I close? You treat people like people, and you value and edify and uplift the people so that they just naturally want to be with you and to do business with you, because you're not only treating them like people, but you're helping them solve their problems. And not just solve their problems, you're helping them move forward in their life, which they may or may not be able to do otherwise. So what a beautiful, beautiful example for all of us.
Be interested, not interesting. Be genuine. Be your total train wreck self. That's all I'm begging you to do. Stop trying to be like Rex Sykes. Stop trying to be like Danny Walsh. Stop trying to be like Tom Chenault, and be the best person God made you. And you will attract a tribe of people that are like-minded at a level you won't believe. I promise you that. I can prove it.
You're on fire, man. Danny?
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think back to the restaurant, the fact that you had the inclination to write down the things that you've complimented, the names of the folks, and remember that stuff, and then next time you can bring that back to the forefront. That is true essence of relationship building, right? Because how many times, like, there's this sort of like, there's the hairdresser, hair salon relationship, and then there's the car salesman relationship, right? Nobody ever remembers the name of the car sales guy, but you all remember the name of the person who does your hair. And there's a long relationship in that. You might buy how many, 3, 4, 5, 10 cars, whatever, right? In a lifetime, typical. Some people buy less, some people buy more. But the person who does your hair, quite often that relationship stays for as long as you need them to, right? And there's connection, real connection. And when you're writing down compliments, you're remembering people, you're remembering the name. You talked about remembering getting to know them, getting to know their health. All of these factors, people just want to get to that destination, make the sale, and then be done with it, right? Can we go a little bit deeper into some of the things people can do right now in their day-to-day life, in their business, that would help them magnify that relationship building even more for the better of everybody?
Who are those two people over your left shoulder? Who are those people in that photo? There's 2 people there. Who are they, Danny?
So the beautiful Siobhan with daughter Lola, and we need to have a new one actually with the little kids on there as well. But for now, there we go. So
you got 1 wife and 3 kids?
4 kids technically. So I've got an older teenage daughter who's out and about somewhere doing teenage daughter stuff. But there's 3 kids that live with us in this house. Yes.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? Well, all I know is if you can focus on what people love most in their life and figure out a way to serve them instead of sell them, you're going to win. And the person that documents the most wins, because now in my life, people don't call me. They don't call me for business a lot. They call me because they've got a hole in their ceiling and the water's pouring through and they don't have a plumber. They don't have this, they don't have that. They don't go to the yellow pages. They call Tom Chenault because they know I'm going to know somebody that's going to be there right now. And can I make money on that transaction? Sometimes, but I'm telling you what, the relationship capital that I gain from that, where they remember that I helped them, the minute that I have something that they need in their life, I'm the first call because I was there when they needed them. And I just promise you all of that, Darlene Eaton and Diana Bravo and my friend Wendy Lee Bakke, you all know my number. You can call me for anything you need. I'm going to know somebody that's going to help you. I'm not going to know it myself, but man, I'm telling you what, I've got 16,000 people in my phone. I've got their blood types and somebody's out there waiting to help you with your problem. And that's all I live to do is serve. And it pays off in the long run with all kinds of stuff. So that's all I'm saying.
That's awesome. You know, it's kind of like, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways, but then you actually know the ways.
Yeah.
That's marvelous. Now, the other side to that, though, is that you did know personal tragedy. You did know how hard it was to go through what you went through, and you understand that other people suffer in the same way. So you have a compassion and empathy for those people, you know, as well. But here's the thing. Because of that, and because of your ability to notice people, appreciate people, recount what's important to those people, because you take the time to invest in that, you have built an empire in network marketing. You know, where a lot of people think, oh, I got to get my relatives, I got to sell this, I got to do this, I got to do that. You have made yourself very well off because of the connections that you've made and the relationships that you've built, and the way that you appreciate people.
Yeah. Well, I was a stockbroker, but stocks always went down because I am not smart. So I would buy the stock with the most commission in it, and it would fall off the cliff and everybody would want to kill me. Airplanes, the same situation. Not all the product always broke. And I finally got into the business of network marketing, which is not your company, which is not your product. It is you, and you are selling hope. And you have got to show people that your eyes are popping open at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about their problems. Because all we want to do is have somebody in the foxhole with us. And their people are jumping out like crazy. And if you become that person who's got their back, who's not too good for them, too rich for them, too handsome for them, you're just their best friend, you win. You notice all the beautiful girls have the not so beautiful best friend. I am the not so beautiful best friend. And I love that about me, because I'm telling you what, those people, those beautiful people, know they've got a friend in Tom Chenault that will do anything for them. And as a result, they've done everything for me and given me the life that I've got today.
Wow.
There's so much power in that. And I know a lot of folks in the chat. Cooper's in the chat. Pam's in the chat. Paul is in the chat. So many folks are getting so much out of this. And the power of that connection, the power of being the best friend, clearly that's carried you on a journey that some people are just missing a trick, right? They're not seeing this. What can we do to open people's eyes to this concept if they've not fully embraced it? And maybe they're trying the best in life, they're looking for success, but they don't have 16,000 people in the phone. They might have 10 or 5. Maybe they don't have many conversations in a day. What can we do practically to start opening up, being more helpful, and being more receptive to the things that you're talking about, whether it's in life, business, network marketing? There must be some principles or a connecting
here it is
that runs through this.
Here it is. The first thing I said was, I want to get to know you better. I want to figure out a way to do business with you. Now I know what's really, really important to you. And it is those 2 people over your shoulder, along with you in that picture, and the rest of the family. I know what makes Danny Walsh tick. So in 3 months, well, maybe in 1 month, maybe in 1 week, I text you and I don't say, do you want to buy a widget? I ask about those things that are most important to you. And I'm constantly reinforcing, I am the guy in the world that remembers you. So all of you people right now that are watching this, I don't care what you use. If you go to that site that's right there, meetmyai.now.site, we've got a 7-day trial for you to teach you how to be the greatest rememberer on the planet. Because he or she who remembers most wins. If I were to look at you right now, Danny, and say, Danny, this is great. I love you so much. And so then you come down to my office and you're at my office and you look on my office wall and there's a yellow sticky that says, F you, Danny Walsh. You're going to go, oh my God, Tom Chenault didn't like me as nearly as well, because nobody likes to be followed up on. You thought it was the other F you. It's follow up. Those three people, those two people and the other people and the people in the family behind you, you don't follow up on their birthday. You'd get killed if you followed up. And you hate to be followed up on. We all love to remember, and we all love to be remembered. So I train people on rotation of remember. Out of the sky blue, which isn't nearly as out of the sky blue as you think it is, you're going to get a text from me. And I'm going to remind you of something that you love about yourself and tell you I'm thinking of you. And I'm going to say, what can I do to make your life better, Danny? And you're going to say, well, I really have some problem. I want to lose some weight. I go, I might have an idea for you. I am telling you that if you guys want to catch a mouse, you have to think like a cheese. And what I constantly work for is figuring out that hole in your life that I can fill that is your idea that pays me money. Cool.
Well, and I can attest to that. I get a text every now and then goes, hey, Rex, check this out. You're going to crush it. Hey, Rex, what about this? Crush it. Crush it. And you've turned me on to so many wild and wonderful things that we've been able to do together, as well as, independently or separately. So I really appreciate that. I do also want to say, for all those people who are watching this live and enjoying this and commenting, if you watch the replay, or those who watch the replay, you can also comment. But right now, if you got questions for Tom, you might want to put one in the chat so that while we have Tom, he can answer your question. And I know you got to be loving this as much as I am, if not more. But Tom, you not only do 2 meetings every day for AA and that kind of thing, but you also every morning have an inspirational meeting with a number of people that I was fortunate enough to be invited by you to speak with at the other day. But you do that every day because you're also serving a whole nother group of people daily. I mean, just daily. And then you do so many other things. So I'm really glad that you were able to be with. We still have time. I mean, this is no end, but I'm just saying that you're here making time for us today.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
And I was late.
No problem. So let's talk about that a little bit. So Rex is talking about something that I do every morning, in a what do you call it? In a Zoom, and 70 people are on there every day. And it is the Tom Chenault Seinfeld show, because we talk about nothing. This morning, I was dancing around in a pair of SpongeBob square, whatever it is, shorts. And I was just bouncing around like crazy, telling people it doesn't matter what you look like. It matters who you are, how much you love. And in that whole thing every day, not only do I say their names completely through that Zoom, but at the end of it, I thank every one of them in song. So I sing to all 70 of them, and so they can hear their name again. And the reason I do that, because I didn't used to, and they would think it was coming to the end and drop off. But now I start singing their name, which is completely cornball, because I can't sing, I can't carry a tune, but they're hearing their name. Nobody leaves. They got to hear their name. Please, you guys, say people's names. Let them know that somebody is seeing them, because we are all feeling so invisible, unloved, alone. No. Love like crazy, then love more. That's all it is.
No, it's truly fabulous. I was happy to be there with you and to witness some of that and participate. I see that there are a couple of questions coming through, so maybe we want to, I don't know if we can put them up, but I'll read one here. It says, it's from Pam. Lacey, and she says, how do you personally exit a toxic relationship? Not toxic in the typical sense, but toxic in business dealings. And I'm curious of what your approach is.
So I just read, but so again, Pam, I suck. I am not only shallow, I'm not very wide. I'm not deep and I'm not wide. All I am is Tom Chenault, but I am a readaholic. And I just listened to Brene Brown talk about that, about how to have that powerful conversation that ends the relationship with power, whereby they both parties realize that it's better that they don't talk anymore and that I still love you, but it's affected my mental health being your friend. And it's not about you, it's about me. And take responsibility for it, because that person that you've got the toxic relationship has other friends. So it's basically me looking at myself real hard and having the courage to say, listen, you can't come to my house this summer and spend 2 weeks. Last year, it just didn't work for me and my family. I love you, but it just doesn't work anymore. I hope you're good with that, but I've got to establish this boundary. And 99% of the time, Pam, they're going to say thank you, because they were looking for a graceful way to get out of it too, and just didn't want to tell you the truth. And when you're that straight with people, tell the truth as fast as you can, it works.
Beautiful.
That help at all, I hope?
Beautiful.
Pam, let us know in the comments if that answered the question. I think there's a lot of times where the conversation doesn't happen, right? The right conversation doesn't happen. It never takes place, and people just kind of keep bumping along on this crazy journey, which could be stopped. And I think that honesty and being able to do that is something that I think we all need to hear, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. We've got a slightly different question, which is related, I guess, to the URL on the screen. But Cooper is asking, what is your favorite AI? And we've got this emergence of AI. Is that relevant? Is that what's the link relates to? But there is this thing, artificial intelligence. And are we using this stuff? Is there a favorite of this stuff? Is like, what's the AI?
Okay, for number one, we're being used by AI. And you have got to, and it's that bus is coming. And if you aren't on it, you are under it. And so I had a company called Contact Mapping with my son, Adrian. We spent millions of dollars developing it, and AI showed up on the scene, and we recognized quickly that we were on the wrong end of the power curve. So we did exhaustive research all over the world for who was the leading voice in AI. And we came across this guy who graduated #1 out of Harvard, started and sold 3 companies. His name's Justin Belababa, and he owns a company called NowSight. And what he did was he owned AI, aggregated ChatGPT and all of the other stuff out there, and turned it into something that every one of us mere mortals that didn't go to Harvard could master. So for $29 a month with a 7-day free trial, this happened the other day. I was shocked. I'm the assistant third base coach for the 7-year-old baseball team in Niwot, Colorado, called the Niwot Rockies. And I am like the worst coach you've ever seen, but I'm the most positive worst coach you've ever seen. So all the mothers are paranoid as heck about their kids. You know, Tom Chenault taking a bunch of their kids' pictures and putting them on the internet, which I don't blame them. So Adrian, my son's the head coach, who thinks I'm a terrible coach too. And he's back there giving them a lecture. So I took a picture of all the back of their heads, and I had on my Love Like Crazy, Then Love More t-shirt. And I ran it through NowSight's social media machine. And I basically just said, I'm the assistant third base coach, and all this junk that I just said to you right now. I hit the button. NowSight all of a sudden made the post for the algorithm for Twitter, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, and for one more, I can't even remember what, for X. Now I've got 4 posts. So my posts get like 2 likes. I wake up the next morning, and if you go look at that picture right now on my Facebook wall which by the way, what all you need to do is go to my wall and scroll down from this interview being there, because this is also on my Facebook wall. You scroll down, you will see that post got over 850 likes. How? It sucked. It was Tom Chenault. Terrible picture of Tom Chenault, all kinds of face, no light, no nothing, but they hit the algorithm the right way, and the rest is history. Because Justin Bellababa, Adrian Chenault, and all those people taught me how to own AI instead of AI own me for $29 a month. Can you imagine that? It's crazy.
Amazing is right. Amazing is right. Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. It's crazy. Crazy.
Well, you're getting comments like great advice.
I get to do an infomercial here, so I wasn't exactly prepared. So if that sucked, everybody, sorry. Adrian, don't fire me. I love you.
Catch you back on the replay. But AI is definitely not going anywhere, right? And I think you have the guys who are like, maybe I need a website. And that was 20 years ago when this .com thing came around. Are there going to be people in 20 years' time thinking, maybe we should think about this AI thing? Where are we going to be then? Have you got like a prediction? Do we know what it's going to look like? It's moving so fast. Is that even possible?
No, you can't tell what it's going to look like. It's 10 times, it's already smart. They're saying in a few months, it's going to be smarter than the smartest human being on the planet. What you do want to do is not try to be the smartest human being on the planet. You need to hop in the foxhole with Justin and Adrian. That's it. Let them do the thinking. We don't have time for that. I'm eating ice cream. So yeah, that's what, no.
I just spent time with someone today who said, and I quote them, they said, don't let AI rule you, you rule AI.
Yeah.
Don't be its tool. You use it as the tool that it's meant to be. And you are talking about that very thing right now. So, right before we got here, I've had this conversation.
And Adrian and Justin get together all the time and talk about what to do with this 73-year-old dinosaur that has so many connections. So I said, well, do you guys want me to sit down and learn this thing? They said, no, Dad, just keep talking. It will prove itself up. AI is going to learn you. It's going to learn Justin. It's going to learn Rex Sykes. It's going to learn Danny Walsh. And it's going to help every one of us be better versions of ourselves, as long as we don't try to be goofballs. And that's all you want to do, everybody, is give yourself a chance to let the world see you as transparent, authentic, and vulnerable as you can. And that's what I do. I constantly tell one on myself, because that way you don't have any expectations. It's that simple.
Very cool. Very cool. I want to return just a moment to the conversation that you had, the question that you were answering for Pam, because I see, there's comments and she said she's going to try that and things like, but, one of the things that I got from that, in terms of what I take away from what you just said is, better to speak the truth in a loving and kind and way that the other person can appreciate and understand than to sit and harbor ill will and ill feelings and let that fester within you and then potentially interrupt or destroy the relationship in a less than glorious manner.
And guys like you. Okay, so I was in some deep water. What, was it 6 months ago? I called you on the phone like crying. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I am in such a mind place that I need help from you, Rex. I need you to, because Rex is an expert in so many things around the brain. I said, I need to refile a story that I've got over there so I can get past a blockage. And Rex took me through that blockage. Every one of you face it, whether it's health, whether it's money, whether it's relationship, whether it's time. And the name of the game is be brave enough to ask for help. It's that simple. Rex might, I wasn't going to drink. I wasn't going to kill myself, but everything else was on the table. It was that serious. And Rex is the guy I called. So I've done the Landmark Forum. I've done Psi seminars. I've done LifeSpring. I've done Convergence. I know Robert White. I know all those unbelievable people, and they're my Rob Rowe. They are my mentors, because I know one thing 1000% true. It's an inside job. And anytime I am sideways with another human being and I'm mad at them, I'll guarantee you one thing right now, they're between me and God. That's what I'm sure of. And I'm fighting it every inch of the way until I realize that if they're in between me and God, they're closer to God than I am, and I need to pray them out of the way. And I got that from guys like Rex Sykes and Rob Rowe and spiritual human beings living in a manly body here on the planet that take guys like me from jumping off the cliff. And I just can't thank you enough, Rex, for being one of those guys on the list.
You're my brother. You're my brother. You're my mentor. You're my friend. You're a guide. You're a godsend. I love you. And if I ever help in any kind of way, I am humbled and honored and happy to do so. So thank you. And you've helped me constantly, continually in our relationship. So the feeling is absolutely mutual, Tom.
So I want to tell these guys something else because it's pretty funny. How long have you been calling me on the phone? And just tell 100% the truth, because I know you're pissed off about it. How long have you been trying to get me to do a mastermind with you?
Oh gosh, it's been a couple of years at least, if not longer than that.
Maybe. And have I ever had the honesty to tell you why I resist it?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because this little guy on my shoulder tells me I'm not worthy. This little guy on my shoulder tells me I'm a fraud. And when Rex Sykes figures it out, he's going to run for his life, and it's going to screw up the mastermind. I swear to God, that's a true story that goes on in everybody's head. We've all got a sentence like that. My story, I've always had all the money in the world. I've always had beautiful women in my life. I've always spent the money as fast as I could. And I've always had a backup woman in my life because I knew they were going to come and get the money when they realized I was a fraud. And I knew that the woman I was with was going to leave me when she figured it out, and I better have backups. And until I got around people like Rex, until I got around some of this personal development stuff, I'm finally able to fire that guy that I used to take with me everywhere I went and listen to. And instead now I just say, shut up. And I'm telling you what, I have a great marriage today. I have more money than I have month. And it's all as a result of not listening to that guy anymore. Tell me a story that generated itself when I was 6 years old. You guys do the work. It's worth it.
Wow. Well, I mean, and the thing about that, and the thing that's so profound is the fact that we as humans pay attention to a voice that has no business telling us what to do. And yet we let it somehow influence us and stop us or prevent us. It's not real. It's mythical. Yes, it's come from our conditioning and maybe from experience and this, that, and the other. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't matter. The thing to do is go shut up, And if you can't shut it up, then just pay attention to a better voice. The thing that people don't get is they watch a scary movie at night, right? Yeah, before they go to bed, a horrifying movie, and then they can't sleep. And you know what the cure for that is? Watch another movie that's funny or a rom-com or something that allows you to have the kinds of experience you want to have before you go to sleep. Why is it not, So, Tom, your honesty, your transparency, your authenticity, the genuine guy who you are that shows up is the guy that I love and appreciate. And I'm so glad that you're here and that we get to do this. And now that you have fessed up, we're doing that mastermind, correct?
Yeah, we got it. Well, now you know what you got stacked against you in order to get me to pull the trigger. I just knew that you could do all this work, and we do all this work. Rex Sykes has 50 people in the room, and I have my dead mother. We can't do that. So that's just me being honest. And how sick it gets is I got married 25 years ago, and we flew to Florida for the wedding, and everybody thought, man, that's really nice that you're doing it in Florida. I did it in Florida because I was afraid nobody would come to the wedding in Colorado. And I have thousands of friends. That's just how mixed up Tom Chenault is. So
why?
That are equally mixed up. Yeah, so hang on a second. I'm so excited by myself that my phone is calling 911 right now, because I banged my head down on my iPhone and it thought I took a fall. So probably the fire department's on the way, which is awesome. So you guys got me that fired up today that my phone was literally SOS. We're making an emergency call. You fell down. So Adrian probably put that in there to make sure the ambulance didn't come. But at the end of the day, everybody, you win. Just light yourself on fire, love your authentic self, and let people see that shine, and you win.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I oftentimes tell people that the biggest problem that most people have is they stand with one foot on the dock and one foot in the boat, and they just go back and forth like this. They're just bobbling around. And in order to enjoy life, you have to jump into the boat and go to your destination, or you have to walk away from the boat and go to your destination. But you can't do it if you vacillate. And what happens to so many people is they want to, but they don't want to. They want to, but they don't want to. And then they make the goal so much more important than the journey. And some people never make it to the goal. They die. They leave the planet before that happens. Or they get to the goal like so many people do and go, wow, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't expect this. I mean, who cares? I got this, but I'm still got all these problems. So make the journey, daily live, and realize that it's always a choice to live the life that you deserve to live.
Yeah. And understand, Rex Sykes isn't where Tom Chenault wants him. Tom Chenault, it's that simple. And Danny Walsh isn't where Tom Chenault wants him. And I'm certainly not where these guys want Tom Chenault. But one thing I'm finally 100% dead certain on is all of us are right where God's got us. And if I can accept that and love that and understand that you're going through it like I'm going through it, and nobody's judge and jury, we're all in it together, helping each other get through the day. In AA, all the time people are talking to me about, oh, it's so sad you're an addict. It's so sad you're this, you're so. I think that God, I think normal people, here's what I think about normal people. Normal people take their problems straight to God. I believe that with every fiber of my body. However, I've never met a normal person. We all have a detour, whether it's the refrigerator, whether it's gambling, whether it's porn, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drug. And most of us don't put light on it. Maybe it's going to church too much. Maybe it's going to the gym. Anything in excess could easily be called an addiction. Anything that is, here's the definition, and this is really good. The definition of an alcoholic is not drinks in the morning, drinks in the afternoon, drinks at night, drinks whiskey instead of beer. No, that's not the definition of an alcoholic. Here's how you know if you've got a problem with alcohol, if you've got a problem with tobacco, if you've got a problem with working out or church. You have a problem with those things if those things are creating a problem in your life. Wiggle off that one. Hey, I don't like you working out so much. You leave us every morning. Well, you don't see your family. You're working out. That's that simple. That is the absolute litmus test for an addiction. Try that one on, folks. It will make your skin crawl.
Wow. Go for it, Dan. Yeah, mic drop, right? What were you wanting to say, Danny?
I think, just to be part of this is, you can see how this is having an impact on so many people, certainly having an impact on me. Tom, the story is amazing, and I know there's a lot more to it. Obviously, precious of everybody's time. I know this is probably going to run over. Some people are still absorbing what you've just said, and things are going on in their mind right now. Is it possible to go a little bit deeper on that? Is it possible to share any further insight or story or something to help folks rationalize what you've just said? Because that's like a big old statement, right?
Time, Danny, is we write history. We rewrite history always to make ourselves the hero. And we minimize, that's why so many people spend all their money on that Ford truck, because they don't want them to see you. They want them to see it. And I have you focus on so many good things about me because I am desperate that you can't see the bad things about me. And if we just recognize the fact that we are right where we're supposed to be right this minute, and there's a cliche out there, timeless, Rex will tell you, what you resist persists. And if you spot it, you got it. And if you'll just stand inside of that and let yourself just feel why you're feeling that way, all of a sudden you're going to say, you know, I can change that. And the word isn't fix, it's change. I can change that. And I don't know about all of you, but we've all got bad habits. And I used to weigh a lot more than I weigh right now. And if you show me a drink of any kind of alcohol served by the most beautiful girl on the planet, it's skull and crossbones. That's how I have that filed. Mm-hmm. So James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And in Atomic Habit, he talks about craving. So you have a craving, and then the craving goes to an action, and then the action comes to an outcome, whatever it is, right? So for me, food, sugar, gluten, carbohydrates own me, because for addicts especially, the addiction just moves around. So I'm committing suicide with a fork. And I thought I had to, and I'm fighting those cravings all the time. What you resist persists. And James Clear says, change the cue. Yeah. The cue is the refrigerator. So now the refrigerator is filed over there with the alcohol. I see sugar, gluten, or carbohydrates. It's got skull and crossbones on it now. I may still have one of those things except alcohol, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be after consideration instead of Pavlov's dog. So if you want to change the outcome, change the cue, which changed the craving. So go read the book, because I did a terrible job of explaining that. Again, I'm not that deep, but go read that book. Go read Rex's book, because I'm going to tell you one thing right now. You change that cue, the party's over, and you're going to have to force yourself to eat that garbage instead of be held hostage to it. And that's what I'm talking about, Danny. And it works.
You know, there's something that I've taught for many, many years, or instruct people usually in training programs. And that is so much of what you said. You know, when the bell is rung, the dog salivates, and the bell is the cue, and the dog salivates. There's a reaction to it. And most people are trapped in that reaction, and they need to learn to respond differently. One of the things that I did for myself, and what I teach for other people, is that many of us have a problem with the word no, because we've been told no more than we've been told yes in our life. We're rejected in many different ways, or we're told, no, don't get the cookies. You can't do that. No, you don't do that. No, you can't go outside. No, you can. So what I had to do was I had to reframe for me the word no. And so every time I would think, I'm not going to do that, no, I don't want that, I would think kind of like the opposite. Like I would think, how good do I feel being able to say no, as opposed to how am I depriving myself? So I actually switched the feeling. This is what I teach, but I switched the feelings from feeling crappy about saying no to feeling powerful for saying no. So every time I said, no, I don't want that. No, I'm not going to have that cake. No, I don't want to have that drink. No, I don't want to have this. I felt more powerful and stronger and positive. Again, and what it was about was learning how to say yes, really, to other things, and not let the thing that I didn't want to be reign supreme in my head. And it's just literally trading feelings. So what you just said to me just speaks volumes. It is so powerful and so important that people get that you never have to be a victim of things that you don't want or that you do want, if you understand that you have a choice and that you have to figure out how to exercise that choice.
Yeah.
And most people don't. They won't. They're not. No one's telling them, except in rare occasions, like what you just did now, is telling them, you know what? You can be who you are more wonderfully when you let go of certain things and accentuate other things.
100% right. Does that make sense, Danny?
Makes total sense. And I think you've mentioned a few times this, how you file things.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're literally filing something with the skull and crossbones, right?
Yeah.
There's a thing about putting certain things in certain boxes and putting them in certain places. And that comes down to not what you think, but how do you think? What is the process of how your thoughts lead to your actions and what you do, right? So if your way of thinking, how you think, is in that filing system, that's an interesting thing that some people, I don't know, let us know in the comments how do you think? Do you think like, is it a filing cabinet? Is it a conversation? Is it just you? How do you think, right? And I'm like, that fascinates me. But the fact that you file things is like, this is the bad stuff filed over there. This is the other stuff filed over here. What levels does that filing mechanism go to? I'm intrigued.
Goes pretty crazy. I've done it. Rex is an expert in NLP, and I did an NLP course with a guy named Michael Burnoff, and it was mind-boggling to me that I could take something that I've hated all my life, like Brussels sprouts, that were filed over there in the absolutely hate to eat file, and I could literally move it over here into I like Brussels sprouts file or foods I like file. Your brain is like that. And we don't understand it at the level that a Rex does. But I'm telling you one thing right now, I got access to that. And what I got access to was that it's possible. Not the mechanism. I'm not nearly as bright as you or Rex. But now I know anything's possible. And when I need to refile something, I'm going to go to an expert like Rex, or I'm going to go to his book, Life on Your Terms, and I'm going to read that book again and figure out how to move that over. Because right now, Brussels sprouts, not anymore. I love Brussels sprouts now. Right now, liver owns me. If I go someplace that they have liver, I'm going, no, 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 no. I know full well I could refile that if I truly wanted to. And that's freedom, because there's nothing I can't do. There's nothing you can't do. You just have to know you can, and then it will be done. Right, Rex?
Absolutely. Just let me piggyback on that for a moment. There are people who run around a racetrack, right? In the Olympics and everything, and they run races, and the goal is to win the race. And then they somehow have the insane notion that they're going to put hurdles along the racetrack that they're going to have to jump over in order to get to the end of the race and to win.
Yeah.
And those hurdles are really just the obstacles or the hardships or the difficulties that we have in life, and our journey. And they're all there so that we can learn and to grow and to do things differently. But there are people who actually enjoy jumping hurdles. And the what you say is so pertinent and so powerful to people, and that is that if you think something is impossible, then you're never going to do it. So if your first thought is, well, I'm never going to do that, I could never do that, that's stupid, I'm too big, I'm too, you won't do it. You have to go from impossible to it could be possible.
Yeah.
It could be possible. It might not be possible for me right now, but it's possible for Tom, or it's possible for Danny, or it's possible for Pam, or it's possible for Lorena, or somebody else. It's possible. If it's possible for other people, maybe it could be possible for me. And it's that constant kind of mapping from it could be possible to me to if I could learn to do it, maybe then I would do it. Or who do I know who can help me learn it? Where do I need to go in order to be able to make this possible for you? And from it becoming possible, you can go to I can learn to make a difference. I can learn to be different. I can learn to be better, or whatever it might be. So you go from impossible to possible to can, and from can you go to, well, if I can, will I?
Yeah.
And if I will do it, then I can have this result. So you go from impossible to possible to can to I will. And if you do that, you can then say, I have done it.
Yeah. And when you came on that call that morning,
yes,
and all my, my Seinfeld, Tom Chenault show, everybody left that thing with a feeling of nothing is unachievable. I have to decide if I really want it. And the only thing stopping me from what I want in my life is really believing I can, really believing it's possible, really believing I really want it, and then you execute. And that's all of us, every one of us. Do it.
Hey, Danny, and those in the chat and those listening, would you do a mastermind with Danny and Tom and me? I mean, because there you are, Tom. I mean, we got it, brother. We got it, brother.
Let's, like, we need quite a few likes, right? We need some hearts and some love and some encouragement in the chat, right? So what Rex just said there, that clearly doesn't come around too often, right? And if you've enjoyed what you've heard today, and I need you to see that. I need to see that in the chat, right? I need people to go crazy. Tara said yes. Don't let it stop you. Thanks for being so authentic, says Pam. But if you guys watching right now, and there's quite a few on all different channels, if there was a means to do a mastermind, me, there's 3 principles, right? In all of this crazy stuff we do, technology must work. You put the right thing in front of the right people, and you build and maintain relationships. Clearly the technology is working, and we've got the means to bring you a message. We can put the right goods together, but do you want that stuff? Because if you tell us you want it, Tom's the kind of guy that remembers this stuff. He's going to write it down, right? It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but you might get that SMS, you might get that message, you might get that email saying, hey, everybody, remember that time you said you wanted this mastermind? But we need to know if that's something you want. Clearly, people are leaving the rooms thinking, whoa, I can do this. If all this did is got you to think that you could do this, would it be worth doing that? It's like, well, I'm in, but anything's possible, right?
And I would just add this, that if you're watching the replay, you can also comment. If you comment now, that's fantastic. But also share this out. If you've gotten great value from what Tom has shared, because I know I have, and you want it to happen again and again, please share it out for other people. Let them benefit the way you and I and Danny have benefited just by being here in the presence of Mr. Tom Chenault. And Tom, you look like you wanted to say something, so I don't want to.
No, I'm thinking about your mastermind. It's mind-boggling to me that Rex knows Ramey. He knows Sharon Lecter. He knows Dr. Finance. He knows all these incredible people on the planet. How did he do it? You have to ask yourself how these people that seemingly have absolutely no reason to be connected to all these people are connected. And then you say to yourself, could I do that? And the answer is yes. Will I do that? That's the big question, because you can. It just becomes will. And I don't know if it's a mastermind. I don't care what it is. Get to yourself to the point that you are going to be unstoppable, and therefore you are. Because I have spent way, way too long trying to stop people who don't want to stop drinking. Don't stop until it's their idea. People that want to make it big in network marketing, don't do it until it's their idea. So the name of the game is get good enough that you can have a conversation with them so powerfully that they can see themselves doing what you did. And in this mastermind, that's what we would cover. That's what I would cover. You finding the greatness within you. You don't want to be like Rex. You don't want to be like Danny. You sure as hell don't want to be Tom Chenault, but you want to be your best self. And darn well you've got far more in the tank than you've shown people thus far, because you haven't had the vehicle or the team in place to get you there from here. And that's what I believe Rex and Danny are for you.
Let us know in the comments whether you're live or on the replay. That's been an amazing hour, and I know we could talk all day, all night, right? And masterminds, events, more broadcasts, everything's possible. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. You guys have been amazing. I know, Rex. Maybe there's some other things to cover. Maybe we need to catch up with folks at another time. But that's been awesome, right?
Oh, it's been wonderful. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, Tom, and how much I appreciate you being here and making yourself available for not just me and Danny, but for all the people that you serve, both here and everywhere else. So thank you so very much. I will do this again and again and again, because we do anyway, but we'll do it again and again, because it's always it's such a great time with you.
Let me know, man. I have no life. I'm just sitting in the lazy boy chair in Colorado waiting for somebody to call me. So,
well, I'll be calling you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hang out for a few minutes. We're going to close out the show. We got to talk a little bit about something that's going on. But please, if you've got the time, stay with us for a little bit in our guest room, and we'll be right back. Mr. Tom Chenault. To go check him out and check out his Can you put up his website again there so that people can see it and how they can connect with Tom? Tom Chenault, meetmyai.now.site. And anything else you want to share there, Tom?
No, I love you all. Thank you very, very much. And if you're waiting for me, you're late. Thank you.
All right, we'll be right with you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Wow, I just love having Tom. I mean, I feel so blessed and so lucky having known him all these years, and to have him in my life, and to have him here with you and me and our audience, both live and who will watch and replay, is exciting. So please, yes, do share this out to anyone and everyone who you feel will get value from it. And if you comment and or ask questions in the chat rooms later or wherever they are, and we will go through them and try and answer your questions and make sure that you get an answer somehow. So
amazing. One more thing we need to share, Rex, right? And then we're moving. In fact, two more things we need to.
A couple of things, yeah. First off, May 1st through the 7th is the Los Angeles Tribune Leadership Week. I'm helping produce and co-host the event. It's sponsored by the Los Angeles Tribune. Mo Rock is the CEO, and it's chock filled with speakers and leaders from all different backgrounds, men, women, who you're going to want to listen to and watch and pay attention to. And it is laleadershipweek.com. I believe. I don't have a graphic in front of me right now, but laleadershipweek.com is the URL. And you go and you register. And you want to register. It's free. It's absolutely free. So here are some of the people. It's Joe Vitale, Sharon Lecter, Russell Brunson, Danny Walsh, Brian Tracy. Is Tom in there? We got to get Tom. Ty Lopez, and so many other people. And and there's Tom Chenault putting his his phone number in the chat. That's wonderful. But anyway, and so many different people. So go and register, because we also have a networking event that you want to do. Robert Cialdini's there. I'm not going to go through all the people. You go and take a look at it at the website. But be sure to register, because if you don't, you miss out on the giveaways and the gifts and the free stuff and all the good stuff that is coming up. And then after the LA Leadership Week, we have another event that we're part of. And Danny's a bigger part of it than I am, but it is the 3-day Think and Grow Rich Challenge with Russell Brunson, where Russell, because of Don Green, the beautiful friend and the head of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, had made available to Russell some lost videos of Napoleon Hill. Now, there's many videos of Napoleon Hill out there already that from the past that you may or may not have seen, but apparently Don has located some ones that have never been seen and has made them available for Russell. So if you join this challenge, and it's free to join, during the 3 days, you can watch these videos. Am I speaking truth right? Am I getting it right, Danny?
Yep, getting it all right. We'll put a link up in the group and around the place and in the chat afterwards. You'll be able to go and you sign up absolutely free. A 3-day challenge, but some of the things that they've got planned for this are amazing. You see a big bunch of guest speakers on there, and there's more to come, more to be announced. Super excited for that one. One more announcement from us before we go, and then we're going to hang out with Tom for 5 minutes in the green room. Just want to share this, which is the all new rexsykes.tv, and you can go and check this out as well. We'll make the screen a little bit bigger over here, but on there we've got Rex's book and we've got all the lives. You can actually see we're live on there right now. Enjoying the newsletter, and you can see the events and Leadership Week and a big bunch of stuff. Video like Les Brown's on there. There's more from Tom on there. There's Grandmaster Eric Lee on there, and a whole lot more. Secrets of Success, we did a live with Justin Benton, and long may it continue, right? So there's a big bunch of stuff. rexsykes.tv in your browser. There's a lot more to come from us, a lot more to come from the show. We've got some more amazing guests lined up. You guys are awesome, and we can't thank you enough for joining, keeping it moving, Rex. Man, it's a privilege.
And be sure to check out Danny Walsh marketing /win.
Yeah, we're giving away a big bunch of stuff. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But for now, I think we're there, buddy.
We're good. And we're out.
We're good.
Everybody, If you consider something a problem, it's a problem. If you consider it's a blessing, it's a blessing. So that's why I always say celebrate everything.
Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see
Next
you
time.
same time next week. Bye-bye.